Welcome to another file handling tutorial using the C programming language. In this video, we will talk about the fgets function, which is used for reading a line from the input stream or the file. Now, when we talk about reading a line, we are actually talking about reading a string value from the input stream or the file. So if we talk about the syntax of this function, the name is fgets. And the first parameter for this function is actually the location where we want to store the line that is read from the file or the input stream. The second parameter is the maximum number of characters that this function can read from the input stream or the file. And the third parameter is the input stream from which we want to read the data. So when this function successfully reads the data from the input stream, it returns the pointer to the location where the read value is stored. Actually, this return value will point to the first parameter. So where we want to store the data read from the file, the return value will point to that. It will kind of indicate that this is where the read value is stored. So now the important thing is, with this maximum number of characters this fgets function can read, what it does is it reads size -1. So whatever we specify here as the second parameter -1, that many characters from the input stream. Why it does that? We all know that in C programming language, a string value is an array of characters ending with the string termination character. So if we say that you can read a maximum of 10 characters from the input stream, what this function does is it reads a maximum of 9 characters and then it inserts the string termination character as the last element. In that way, we are reading a string value from this fgets function. The fgets function stops reading from the stream in 3 cases. One is a newline character is encountered. Second one is there is nothing left in the file to read. And the third one is it has already read size -1 number of characters from the file. So in these 3 scenarios, it will stop reading from the input stream. So if any error occurs while reading from the file, then it will return the null value. Now, if it is confusing right now, don't worry. When we see this in example, everything will be clear. So here, what I have done is I have defined the main function, which is the entry point of our program. And then I have opened up the input.txt, a text file in reading mode. And then we are checking whether the file has been opened successfully or not. If there is an issue, then we are terminating the program after displaying the error message. So if there is no issue, then what we do is we will use this fgets function. We will read a line or we will read a string value from the file or the input stream, and then we will store it in some location. So in order to store the string value that we will read from the file, we need memory. For that, I will use an array and I will call it as name and I will specify the size as 10. So here we will be reading from this input.txt. If I open up that, in this file, I have the text Jojamma. So we will try to read this line from this file using the fgets function. We will write fgets and then you can think of it like get the string from the file stream. So as the first argument, we have to specify where we want to store the line that is read from the file stream. In this example, we want to store it in the name array. So I'm going to specify here. So it will be name. If you have seen the syntax, we have to provide the pointer, but the array name in C programming language is actually a pointer. So we will specify that here. The second argument will be the max number of characters that this function can read from the file stream. So here what I have to do is I have to enter 10 because the size of this array is 10. This is important because if we have the array size as 10 and if this function reads more than 10 characters, if it reads 15 characters, it will be memory overflow and the program can crash and it will display improper results. So in order to avoid that, make sure that we are not going over the memory. We have to provide the proper size here. So instead of specifying the size as 10 here manually, what I will do is I will use the size of operator and then I will use the name array. So what it does is it gets the size of this name array, which is 10 in this case. If you remember, when we specify the size as 10 here, what this fgets function does, it reads a maximum of 9 characters and then it inserts the string termination character. So if there are only 4 characters to read from the file, it will read those 4 characters and then it will insert the string termination character. So if there are more than 9 characters, then it will stop at 9, then it will insert the string termination character and then it will return that value. The last argument here will be the pointer to the file stream. So it is present in this fp. So now the next thing that we do is we will use the printf function and we will try to display the value that will be present in this name array. So here I will say name colon %s and then I will refer the name array. Now if I open up the input.txt, you can see the content that I have here. And after that, I will save this program and I will run this. So we get name colon Jojamma here. Now what if the input.txt contains the text which is more than 9 characters? So here we have 7 characters. I'm going to insert a space and then I will add more text here. Now I will come back to this program and I will run this. See what happens now. You guys can see it stopped after reading 9 characters. So space is also included. So after reading this yes, it has stopped reading from the file. Why? Because here we have specified the size as 10. So it reads 10 minus 1, 9 characters from the file stream and then inserts the string termination character and it returns that. So that is the one scenario. Now what if here we have Joja and then we have a new line and then we will have some value. For example, I will say Anil, something like this. Now if I come back and if I run this program, what it does is it reads the first line which contains Joja. So here after Joja, there is the new line character. When it encounters the new line character, it will stop reading that. Now the next important thing that I want to show you here is what if I try to find the length of this string at this particular moment. So I will say length and then I will use %d and here I will include the string.h header file. So it will be hash include string.h and then in order to find the length of the string present in this name array, I will use the string length function strlen and then here it will be the name. So what I'm doing is after reading the line using the fgets, I'm displaying that and also I'm displaying the length of that string present in this name array. So now if I run this program, we will see name equal to Joja and then length equal to 5. Now you can count here how many characters are present in this Joja. Only 4. If we look at the input.txt in the first line, how many characters are there? 4. But it is displaying the length as 5. Why? The reason why the fgets function stopped reading from this file is after reading these 4 characters, there was this new line. When it encounters the new line character, it will stop reading from the input stream. But the problem is it includes that new line character as part of the read value if there is enough space available. So what I mean by that is if we have Samriddhi Shetty here, then if I run this program, now what happens is we get the string as Samriddhi and then length equal to 9. So it has read Samriddhi which contains 8 characters and then this space, and at that particular moment it has stopped reading. The reason is it has already read the max number of characters it can read, so which is nothing but the 10 minus 1 which is 9. So it will stop reading and it will return the value. But when we have only 4 characters, the function knows that it can read a max of 9 characters. So in that case, after reading the 4 character, here the new line is there. So it will include that new line in the returned string. So that is one thing that you have to remember when using the fgets function. If there is space for this function to read data from the file stream, then it will include the new line character that is present in the input stream. So that's why we get the length equal to 5 here. So how we can solve this problem? For that, what we can do is, after reading from the file stream using the fgets function, we can check the array where the data is stored, and we can check whether that array contains any newline character. And if it contains that, then we can replace that with the string termination character. And to do that, what we can do is we can use a function which is defined in the string.h header file. It is called as strcspn. We can use this function in order to find the index of a particular character which is present in the string. So here we will provide the name array, and we will try to get the index of the newline character that is present in the string. If this particular character is not there, it will return the length of the string, which will actually point to the last character. So what we do is, by using the location of the /n, that is the newline character, if it is present, we will change it to something else. So here we will specify name here, something like this, and then we will specify the character if that /n or the newline character is present. So it is nothing but the string termination character. So what we are doing is, we are using this strcspn function in order to find the index of /n, and once we know that where this /n is present in the string, we will go to that location and we will replace that with the string termination character. And if the string is not there, it will return the length of the string. So it will actually point to the string termination character which will present in this array. So if the new line is there, we are replacing it with the string termination character. If it is not there, then it will actually point to the location where the string termination character is there, and we will replace that again with the string termination character. So nothing changes if the new line character is not there. If it is there, it will be replaced with the string termination character. And here I have to provide this value in double quotes, not in single quotes. And now if I save this program and if I run this, now you guys can see the name that is read from the file is Joja, and the length is equal to 4. So that is what we can see. If I go to the input.txt, we can see we have Joja and the length is 4. Now if the new line is not there, we have only one line, then if I save this program and what I will do is I will comment out this particular code. So we are reading from the file and we are directly displaying that and checking the length. So if I run this now, you guys can see we get Joja and length equal to 4. Why? Because the new line character is not there in this line, and that's why it will not be included. Here the fgets function stops because there is nothing left in the file to read. Okay. So just wanted to show you guys that. Now here, instead of using the file pointer, if I want, I can point it to standard input. If I do that, then we will be able to take the input from the user. So here, if I make it std in, that is the standard input. And now if I save this program and if I run this, I have to provide the value. So here I'm going to say Jojamma, and if I hit the enter key, now it will display name Jojamma, length 7. Now here, I did not specify any message asking the user to enter any value. If you want, you can do that. The thing is, we can use this function in order to read from the file, or we can use it to read the data from the input stream by using the standard input. Now the next thing that we're going to see here is about the return value of this. Now as I said before, this function returns the pointer to the location where the line that is read from this file stream is saved. Here where it is saved in this name array. And what I will do is I will store the return value of this fgets function in a pointer. So I will write char $p equal to, and then the fgets function. So this fgets function returns the pointer where the line that is read from the file stream is saved. We have asked this function to store that in this name array. So this return value actually points to this name array. So first what I will do is I will use the printf function, and I will use this pointer in order to display the data or the line that is read from the file. So here I will say name %s, and then I will refer the pointer, and it will be p here. And then if I save this program and if I run this, it will display name and then Georgia. So we know that by using this return value also we can access the data that is stored. Now the last thing that I want to show you is this pointer is actually pointing to this name array. So just to show you guys that, what I will do, I will use the %d here, and then I will write p double equal to name. So if I save this program and if I run this, we get 1 here. So 1 means true. That means this pointer or the return value of this fgets function is actually point to the location where we have asked this function to store the line that is read from the file stream. So this is it guys for this particular video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. If you have anything to say, write that in the comment box. For more tutorials, subscribe to the channel.